Speaking of other people who have dug themselves into a hole.
Palmer Luckey, who, the man, the myth, the legend, who brought Oculus and VR into the forefront, the mainstream.
And skipping on the cover of Time magazine.
Oh, yes. Well, he'll be known throughout history for his little dinosaur or whatever beach thing became a meme. He's only 24. So, young prodigy, genius. So, he started working on this VR stuff, like 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
There's been alleged that the technology drifted, we'll just say, before it came to Oculus. I don't know the fine details, but there's going to be lawsuits filed at some point. So Palmer Luckey, what happened was obviously Oculus got sold to Google for...
Facebook.
Oh, excuse me, Facebook. Got sold for what, a couple billion, was it?
Yeah.
Insane amount of money. But it's good technology, obviously, and VR their hope is going to take off. And as I've surmised and guessed, I think VR is going to be even bigger outside of games. I think it's going to be good with games, but outside of it, I think it's going to be big. Why else would someone like Facebook get into it?
Right.
VR talking to people, VR Thanksgiving dinners with your family across the world, and I'm not talking about VR porn, but I'm sure Facebook will stay away from that. That's going to be a big market too.
Huge.
So he's a 24-year-old founder of Oculus, and it was revealed over the weekend of it was around the 24th or so, that he gave money or was funding a pro-Donald Trump meme group that was dedicated to creating memes and posting them and putting together viral stunts in order to go after Hillary Clinton.
The biggest thing they had done was they had pulled off a billboard that had a big, inflated head of Hillary that said "too big to jail."
And that was done. Was that be done in the city where the first debate was taking place? I forget.
I don't remember what city it was, but
so
yes.
So this group's called Nimble America, which is a 501c4, and it gets weird though. The story.
And then there was and then there was a character in the Reddit group for, I believe it was called
Nimble Richman.
That was the name of the character, and it was said that it was him behind it, and then the story is switched a bunch of times, saying
whether
that
he was posting under that handle
or writing the things that were posted under that handle, etc., etc.
So what happened was he gave this information to, I think it was a Daily Beast, to the reporter on the phone, saying, yeah, that was me, I did that stuff, not thinking something would blow up, maybe, I don't know. And it blew up at that point. So a lot of things happened over the weekend because of this. There was an apology, which we'll get into, from Palmer Luckey, while you had various VR game companies saying we're not going to be doing anything with the Rift, with Oculus, if Palmer's Luckey is still employed by Facebook. Remember, he's a Facebook employee.
Right.
He's a big muckety muck.
Basically, they want him to step down from his position.
So this is his apology after this came out, and we'll get into where for me it's a little bit muddled about what he actually did versus. Okay, but this is what we said, and this was like trending number 1 on Twitter. This was huge news.
Oh yeah.
He gave to this pro Donald Trump meme group. He said, "I'm deeply sorry for my actions," and this is on Facebook. "I'm deeply sorry for my actions that are negatively impacting the perception of Oculus and its partners. The recent news stories about me do not accurately represent my views. Here's more background. I contributed $10,000 to Nimble America because I thought the organization had fresh ideas on how to communicate with young voters through the use of several billboards. I'm a libertarian who has publicly supported Ron Paul and Gary Johnson in the past, and I plan on voting for Gary in this election as well. I'm committed to the principles of fair play and equal treatment. I did not write the Nimble Richman Reddit post," I added the Reddit part, "nor did I delete the account. Reports that I am a founder or employee of Nimble America are false. I don't have any plans to donate beyond what I've already given to Nimble America. Still, my actions were my own and do not represent Oculus. I'm sorry for the impact my actions are having on the community." Well, okay. There's 2 things I want to talk about here, maybe 3. Whether it was, I'm guessing people went after him because it was a specific group, this meme group, and not a general Donald Trump foundation.
That's kind of my thought too.
Because it seemed like this group was going beyond just being a pro-Trump group, that they were doing some nasty stuff in terms of images created and their tactics. What I read was that even people like in Donald Trump's Reddit group, there's like a pro-Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, they weren't fans of this.
Aren't fans of money going to this Nimble America group.
Right.
So when you hear that, then you're really thinking, what the hell's going on? What was Palmer thinking of doing? Which brings me to, which I brought up to you before, about the first 2 episodes of this season of South Park, which were all about trolls and who's actually a troll and what do they do, what they want to accomplish. And we'll get into minor spoiler territories. But they're probably going to work this into their episodes coming up. But basically what's happened on South Park so far is there's this troll that's been making fun of girls in the school and the mothers of the girls and creating awful images. Creating meme images of like penises in the mom's mouths. And everyone's trying to think about who did it. And everyone's blaming Cartman, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cartman. He hates girls and he likes causing trouble. And spoilers, it hasn't been Cartman. It's been well-adjusted Kyle's father, the lawyer, who's going home at night, getting his a glass of wine and having a good old time at night, just smiling and creating all these memes and posting on Facebook and doing all this nasty stuff. Not because he's a awful individual, is what we always think trolls are, because he's doing just to have fun. It's a way to blow off steam, and he's just a normal guy having fun. So that's why it's just so ironic that this is coming out, because this is a guy who's now like a billionaire.
Yeah.
Hugely influential in gaming culture. He's almost single-handedly, he might be changing gaming forever because of this VR stuff. And he's getting into this fucking bullshit meme grief or whatever I call it, garbage. Just to whatever, just to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not for any political gain. It's not like he gave it to an actual Donald Trump group.
There's a quote, and he says he did it because it sounded like, and I quote, a jolly good time. And it makes him sound like a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the backlash is from. Now, some of these some of these indie developers, and without getting into politics, but some of them may just not like Donald Trump and don't want to, be seen as associated with that. But I think the bigger problem is this looks incredibly fucking childish.
Yes.
It looks insanely childish. And, I mean, the last thing you want to see is a important key figure in a company that you are supporting with your game development devolve to the level of children, or
he's only
support that.
He's only 24, which you think 24 you're a grown man, but you're not really. When I was 24, holy shit,
sure,
I was still a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well, that's what he's doing. He's thinking like a fucking idiot.
He's still like a 16-year-old.
Yeah,
thinking like, oh, we're having fun, but he has a ton of money. It's so weird that, I'm a libertarian who has publicly supported Ron Paul and Gary Johnson in the past, and I plan on voting for Gary Johnson. Hell, I do too. Why didn't you give that money to Gary Johnson then? If you're supporting him, why give it to a fucking meme group? Which goes what you're saying, because he doesn't really care. This is a cover. He just wants to cause trouble. Hell, there's my money going towards that billboard making fun of Hillary, and it's like, really? That's what you're spending your money on? That's what you? I mean, you can spend your money on whatever you want, obviously. But now the backlash is coming against him. Like you said, I don't think it's because it was a Donald Trump. If it was just some weird Donald Trump CPAC, no one would care. No one probably would even found out.
Right.
It's the fact that, well, you would eventually because they list contributors. But the fact that this is a really weird fucking group that really has no real political aim. It's just to cause trouble.
Yeah.
Really.
Just to stir
It's
shit.
a troll group.
Mm-hmm.
Funded by, at least partially by, a billionaire who's 24 and doesn't know any better and is lucky that he wasn't thrown out, that Facebook didn't kick him out the door, So, give the money to Gary Johnson. Get him into that second and third debate because the first one was fucking awful. That's what I'm going to say to you, Palmer. You got the money. Let Gary debate.